All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. We're doing more Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. We're up to episode 10. It's called The Bridge, so full spoilers if you haven't seen this episode. So this must have been like the mid-season finale. I forgot about this episode. I remember now watching it for the first time and getting to the end and being like, what the fuck? But this is typical, like this is Joss Whedon 101, and I should have expected this kind of like episode eventually. So in this episode we got this guy that Raina had visited, the girl in the flower dress played by Ruth Negga. She had visited this guy who's like a tactician, and this time they get him out of jail and they send in their super soldiers that are using the extremis centipede program, and they get him out. This asshole is one of those guys that's has to be called sir in order to get him to do anything, even in a prison breakout. So yeah, screw this guy. Just forget him. I just don't like characters like this. They're not fun bad guys. They're just ugh. But they get out. They get him out, and now S.H.I.E.L.D.'s got to find, out what's going on. And this is where they bring in Mike Peterson. It's kind of it's interesting how they shot the effect. They tried really hard to make it look realistic. So sometimes, like, part of that scene looks pretty good, part of that scene looks not good. Part of it's just a miracle that they pulled it off so that it looked legit at all. Like, especially there's that one shot that really did look like he was pushing that bulldozer. But they did some really funky stuff just to get it so that it looked, it's somewhat believable. But I do like that. That's a great reintroduction to him, and him hoping that he beat Cap's record, which, no, I don't think that happened. But was Cap ever, is Cap ever around? I don't know what was going on back then with his records or whatever, but he never went to S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know. There must have been a lot of time in between that montage in Captain America where people must have been timing him. I'm getting off topic. But anyway, Mike wants to prove himself. I don't know why they're calling it a second chance, why Coulson says everybody deserves a second chance, but you won't get a third. Did he get a first chance? I mean, I know he volunteered for this thing and it went bad. But he's not a bad person, so I don't know. I don't exactly agree with the whole second chance thing. Mike was never a bad person, and he never really was doing anything. I mean, he was just kind of, the experiment that was done went on him. I don't think, they explained to him all the side effects or cared, right? I mean, they use these guys and drain them just for, they're basically test subjects till they get it right. And even then, you're expendable with the bomb in your head. But I love the misdirection of this episode, and now seeing it again after this long a time, I do appreciate how they did it, because they get you thinking all emotionally about stuff, and you forget about that they got the tactician. So in the end, when they set up this hostage exchange on the bridge, I should have, I should have remembered what happened and should have known about the tactician and what, this guy's good at is setting up things, and they never really mentioned it. And so I forgot about it. And so when everything goes down, it's still kind of a surprise, but as soon as it was all over, it's like, oh, of course that's what they did. I mean, it was all misdirection. They haul away Coulson. They get you looking one way. They know that, they must have figured that Mike Peterson was going to go back, and so they had the bridge to explode, and while they're really in a helicopter, so they didn't put Coulson in the car, he's in the chopper, and I remember thinking Mike Peterson's dead, and I was really mad because I was like, why do you have him on this show if you're just going to kill him like that? And again, I don't know what I was thinking. No body, no death. I mean, I guess I probably told myself that later on, but spoilers. I mean, if this is the first time you're watching it, just follow that rule about Mike Peterson, okay? If you didn't see him actually die, he ran into an explosion, and yeah, it's it's crazy that they wanted Coulson, and it has to do with Tahiti and what they did to bring him back. But it is an interesting choice because you'd think that Mike Peterson was their linchpin. They need to know how he still has his powers. But apparently they need to know what Coulson knows more. We get some stuff here with Ward and May, and you think that, Ward... Well, I mean, Coulson warns him not knowing about May, or maybe pretending he doesn't know about him and May, but that'd be a bad idea to have like an office relationship. I like that they mentioned the cellist from, I think it was Iron Man 2 that they mentioned the cellist that you just kind of hear in the background. Or maybe it was Avengers. Maybe it was Avengers that him and Tony were talking about the cellist. But that's a big callback. And you get May, who thinks that Ward took a punch for her in that fight. And that fight scene was pretty cool. You get like 3 or 4 dudes against each other. I mean, what did they really think was going to happen? In fact, this whole episode, the SHIELD team kind of gets their ass handed to them because that tactician said, well, let's just stop running. Let's just kick their ass because we can. So it shows what these people can do with the right, people, planning out their attacks. And I think it's kind of about time that maybe Coulson's team takes a step back and goes to SHIELD and finds out how to proceed a little bit more effectively. Because going at it alone all the time with no backup but yourselves is kind of silly. But that's just how they write the show, so whatever. But I can't quite remember what happens next. I do believe it probably has a lot to do with Coulson remembering more about what happened to him. And eventually, let's just look. It's season 5. There's about to be season 6. Not this season, but we've had 5 seasons. We're about to have a 6th. If you haven't seen this by now, spoilers for what I'm about to say. So I mean, it's like Mike Peterson's coming back. So let's not get too into much of a twist. It is fun to see how all these things played out. It is fun to see how they get you thinking one thing and then another thing happens. And eventually when Mike comes back, I do believe that's when we do get the beginning of Death Clock. Or Death Clock. It's Death Clock. Death Clock is that cartoon. Is that fictional band from Metalocalypse. So anyway, for a big event episode, or there's really not much to say about it, other than what's going on with Coulson, and I do like May's ultimatum to Skye, even though it's more about May, than it is about Skye, like that whole being pissed at her. But it's true. It's not what she's saying is true. She does have to figure out why she's there, because if she expects everybody to keep dropping what they're doing to find her parents, that's, I don't know. So that's about it for this. I'm going to probably have episode 11 or 12 done at some point today, and then I'm going to stop because I got a lot to do, and I still got to do Avengers Age of Ultron. We got Walking Dead tonight. So it's going to, I think, one more episode for today, and then we're going to wait till tomorrow because I'm not 100% sure when this show comes back. Somebody said May. I thought it said, and I think the YouTube trailer said May. So we've got a little bit of time to get through this. I am cruising so far. And I am trying to take advantage of the time that I have to get as many episodes done before this comes out, but no guarantee. And I don't want them to get stale either, because once you start doing these one after another, they can tend to be kind of like next. So trying to find interesting things to say about each episode that I haven't thought of before or hasn't been said before. So anyway, that's it. If you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Otherwise, this is Robert Smirking on Review saying we will see you on the next episode. Otherwise, have a great day and see ya.